The chlorine hit my lungs the moment I surfaced, gasping, the echo of my final flip turn still ringing off the tiled walls. Coach Harlan stood at the block, arms crossed, stopwatch in hand, staring down at me like I had just betrayed him personally. "Again," he said, voice low but sharp enough to cut water. "You hesitated on that turn. Hesitation kills medals, Ethan." I wanted to argue. I had shaved 3/10 off my best time tonight, but the way his eyes locked on mine made the words die in my throat. 23 years old, senior year at Ridgewood University, and I still felt like the scared freshman who'd walked onto this deck 4 years ago, hoping to prove something to the world. Or maybe just to him. I dove again. The water closed over me like forgiveness I hadn't earned yet. Practice had ended 40 minutes earlier. The rest of the team had showered, laughed their way out into the cold January night, heading to the dining hall or whatever party was happening off campus. But Harlan had asked me to stay back for extra work. He always phrased it that way, extra work, like it was just another set of 200s on the clock. Except tonight the lights above the diving well were dimmed, the only brightness coming from the underwater lamps that turned the deep end into glowing turquoise. I finished the set, climbed out, water streaming off my shoulders, and stood dripping on the gutter tiles. He didn't speak at first, just walked over with that measured stride he used when he was deciding something important. Harlan Brooks was 34, former All-American at Stanford, the kind of coach recruiters whispered about. Tall, broad-shouldered, dark hair always neatly trimmed, jaw that looked carved from discipline. Everyone on the team respected him. Some feared him. A few, myself included, felt something else entirely, something I had spent years pretending was just admiration. "You know why I kept you," he said finally, stopping close enough that I could smell the faint mint of his gum mixed with the pool's chemical bite. I shook my head, though I suspected. My heart hammered louder than it ever did during a race. "Because you're the only one who still looks at the clock like it owes you something." He reached out, almost casually, and brushed a droplet from my cheek with his thumb. The contact lasted half a second too long. "And because I can't stop thinking about what happens when you finally stop holding back." The air between us thickened. I should have stepped away, should have laughed it off, called it coach talk, gone to change. Instead I stood frozen while he studied me like I was a heat sheet he needed to memorize. "I shouldn't be saying this," he continued, voice dropping. "You know that. You could ruin me with one phone call. But I've watched you grow up here, Ethan. Watched you turn from a kid who could barely hold a streamline into someone who might actually make nationals this year. And somewhere along the way," he exhaled hard, "somewhere I stopped seeing just an athlete." My mouth went dry. "Coach Harlan," he corrected quietly. "When it's just us, say it." Harlan. The name felt dangerous in my mouth, like swallowing glass. We can't." "I know." But he didn't move back. "Tell me to walk away right now and I will. I'll pretend this conversation never happened. You'll swim your races. I'll coach you to the wall, and we'll both keep our secrets." I looked at the empty bleachers, the American flag hanging limp above the scoreboard, the black lane lines stretching into darkness. Everything about this place screamed rules, boundaries, consequences. Title IX trainings every fall had drilled it into us. Power imbalances, reporting lines, zero tolerance. Yet here we were, standing on the lip of something irreversible. I didn't tell him to walk away. Instead, I asked the only question that mattered. "What happens if someone finds out?" His expression flickered, regret, maybe, or resolve. "Then we deal with it, together. Or we don't, and it ends here. We didn't kiss that night. Not yet." He simply placed his hand on the back of my neck, thumb pressing lightly against my pulse, and said, "Go shower. Think about it. Tomorrow after morning practice, meet me in my office. If you're not there, I'll understand." I nodded, legs unsteady as I walked to the locker room. The hot water hit my skin but did nothing to wash away the feel of his touch. The next 3 weeks became a tightrope walk. By day, nothing changed. Harlan barked orders, adjusted my stroke count, critiqued my breathing pattern like always. He was careful, too careful. never touching me longer than necessary, never letting his gaze linger when others were around. But the awareness was there, electric, humming beneath every interaction. A brush of shoulders during a relay handoff. A quiet good set that carried more weight than it should. At night, alone in my dorm, I replayed every moment, hating how much I wanted more. The team noticed something was different, though they couldn't pinpoint it. My roommate, Javier, kept asking why I was so distracted. "You training for Olympics now or what?" he teased, not knowing how close the joke landed. Then came the first crack. We were at a dual meet against state. I false started in the 100 free, unheard of for me, and cost us the relay. Harlan pulled me aside after, in the hallway behind the blocks where no one could hear. "You okay?" he asked, concern edging out coach mode for once. I shrugged. "Just off." "Bullshit." He glanced around, then stepped closer. "Talk to me." I wanted to tell him the truth, that every time he looked at me I felt exposed, that I was terrified of what I felt, that I was more terrified of what I didn't feel when I imagined walking away. Instead I said, "I'm scared. Of losing. Of everything." He exhaled slowly. "Me too." That night he texted me for the first time. Not from his university phone, the one the athletic department monitored, but from a personal number I'd never seen. "Harlan, pool access code is 2519, 10 p.m. No cameras in the storage room behind the pump house." I stared at the message for 20 minutes before replying. "Ethan, I'll be there." The storage room smelled of rubber mats and old chlorine. A single bulb hung overhead, casting long shadows across stacked kickboards and buoys. Harlan was already waiting, wearing a hoodie and track pants instead of his usual polo and whistle. He looked younger, almost vulnerable. We didn't speak at first. He just pulled me into a hug, careful, tentative, like he expected me to bolt. I didn't. His heartbeat thundered against my ear. "I've never done this," he whispered. "Not with a current athlete. Not like this." "I know." He pulled back just enough to look at me. "Last chance to change your mind." I kissed him instead. It wasn't fireworks or movie magic. It was clumsy, urgent, tasting of fear and relief. His hands framed my face, steady where mine shook. When we broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against mine. "This doesn't change the rules," he said. "I still coach you. You still have to earn every second. If it ever feels wrong, I'll tell you," I promised. We met like that 3 more times over the next month, always after hours, always in hidden corners of the aquatic center. Each encounter deepened the pull and the guilt. We talked about everything. His failed shot at the Olympic trials, my fear of disappointing my parents who thought swimming was paying for college, the way the team joked about gay rumors, without realizing how close the truth circled. Then came regionals. I swam the best 200 fly of my life, personal best by almost 2 seconds, automatic qualifying time for nationals. The team mobbed me. Harlan hugged me in front of everyone, brief, professional, but I felt his fingers tighten against my back for 1 heartbeat longer than necessary. That night we didn't meet. He sent a single text. "Harlan, proud of you. Sleep. We talk tomorrow." But tomorrow brought something else. Assistant coach Ramirez called an emergency team meeting. Harlan stood at the front, face unreadable. "Effective immediately," he said. "I'm taking a leave of absence. Personal reasons. Coach Ramirez will handle the team through nationals." The room exploded in questions. I sat frozen, stomach dropping. Later, in the parking lot, he found me leaning against my car. "I reported it myself," he said quietly. "To compliance. Told them everything except your name. Said it was consensual, that it started after you turned 23. But that doesn't matter. Policy is clear. Power dynamic. They agreed. You're quitting." My voice cracked. "I'm protecting you. And the team. If this blows up during nationals, it destroys your shot. Everything you've worked for. I don't care about that. You will." He stepped closer, voice low. "You were born to swim, Ethan. Not to clean up my mess." Tears burned my eyes. "This isn't fair." Life rarely is. He reached out, hesitated, then brushed my hair back. Go win nationals. For both of us. He walked away before I could answer. Nationals came fast. I swam like a man possessed, silver in the 200 fly, bronze in the 100. The crowd roared. My parents cried in the stands. But every finish felt hollow. Back on campus, the rumors had started. Someone had seen us talking too often. Someone else noticed how Harlan left right after regionals. Nothing concrete, but enough to make people whisper. I found him one last time, outside his empty office, boxing up files. Why didn't you fight it? I asked. Because fighting would drag you into the spotlight. Questions. Depositions. Headlines. He looked exhausted. You deserve better than being the kid who slept with his coach. It wasn't like that. To them it would be. He closed the box. I love you, Ethan. That's why I'm doing this. The words landed like a starting gun. I stared at him. You never said it before. I know. I should have. I stepped forward, pulled him into a kiss that tasted like goodbye. When we separated, he smiled, small, sad. Go live your life. Swim fast. Fall in love with someone who doesn't sign your timesheets. I walked out of the building into sunlight that felt too bright. Months later, I graduated. Harlan moved to Colorado, took a job coaching master swimmers, far from any university spotlight. We texted sometimes. Careful messages. Updates about times, about life. Never about us. I still swim. Early mornings. Empty lanes. Chasing ghosts in the water. Sometimes I wonder if I made the right choice letting him walk away. Sometimes I wonder if he regrets reporting himself. Most days, though, I just dive in and push until my lungs burn. Because in the end, maybe that's all any of us can do. Keep moving forward, even when the current tries to pull us under. Was Harlan right to sacrifice his career to protect Ethan's future? Or should he have fought for their relationship despite the consequences? True or false?